3416, it is now time to begin Module 5, aka Week 5, aka the second to last week of our shortened summer semester. So I am looking at Module 5 right now and just trying to kind of touch base on some of the things that you are going to need to do or that you are going to study. We talk about a few different things. We talk about video games as writing and new media. And the reason we do that is to sort of look at this thing that is arguably exclusive to the digital revolution. You could, I think, make an argument and say, well, are video games all that different from board games? Are they all that different from movies? And that's what's kind of interesting about them. In a mediated understanding that says that everything is a remix, as we said in the very first week of this class, can there be anything new? And if something can be new, what are our criteria for evaluating that newness? If nothing can be new, how do we link it to the old? And that's kind of why the last media type we look at are video games. That's not to say that they are magically more important than anything else we've studied. Certainly that's not to say that they are some sort of final form of writing in new media. It's just kind of an interesting point of departure, especially as video games branch off into augmented reality. You've got like your Pokemon Go. You had I can never remember the name of the game that came out before that. Now there's a Witcher version of Pokemon Go or whatever. So like this is all kind of interesting where the virtual intersects with the real. Not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's interesting. And what is interesting about that is, of course, for you to explore. So we're going to talk about video games. Our big read this week comes from the Video Game Reading, and that is the article Empire at Play by Nick Dyer-Witheford and Greg DePoiter. It's a hefty read. It's you know, I cut and pasted it out of its online forum. It's about a 15-pager, so pretty typical for a long academic article. Probably going to take you some time to really read and understand, but there is a quiz that I think is going to help you to find the salient points. As always, when you're reading academic work, skim, read, skim again. Skim it to kind of get the general gist of it. Read it. Develop that capacity within yourself to sort of just push past the stuff that you don't have yet. And that can be kind of hard to reconcile because, of course, we want to get smarter. We want to look up the references. But eventually you have to learn how to balance the two. And when you're reading, say, okay, I don't know who this scholar is. Is this point that they're making right now super essential to me understanding it? And if so, yeah, then go do the legwork. And if not, blow past it and move on to the next paragraph or on to the next section. A word to the wise, of course, is sufficient. We are going to talk about 21st century problems. We're going to talk about the downside of all this digital media that we are surrounded by which we are surrounded. Yeah, I guess that's the right way to say it. Think about the shortcomings of the digital revolution. What's the problem? What are things that exist in our world in any sort of context that we can point to and say there is some sort of correlation between this digital world in which we live and this problem? Obviously, these are mostly problems of an informatic nature. This is how we receive and transmit data. But beyond that very clinical and cold-sounding assessment of it, it's how does that information affect us as people? All right, so this is still the human world, regardless of how many times we put something like virtual or digital in front of it. What's the effect? And specifically in Module 5, we're looking at the downsides. We're looking at the stuff that breaks the narrative of techno-utopianism. So yeah, we've got some really remarkable things here in the 21st century, but they're not exactly problem-free. So we're kind of zoom in on those problems a little bit. You have a discussion notes section on writing web content, which I think some of you are going to find useful. As I believe I've mentioned before, I was a web content writer for a significant portion of time. I was a freelance copywriter for on and off about 5 or 6 years. It's a nice little business, and these guides to writing are actually designed for any of you that are interested to break into that business on how to do that. So there's 3 altogether. There's writing web content, and we've already looked at writing film and writing internet video. All of which are things that I've done professionally, and which maybe you can too. Hopefully those guides are helpful. For work in Module 5, you've got 3 quizzes altogether. You've also got a discussion, which I think you're going to find is super easy. And then you've got a minor project that will allow you to practice doing actual copywriting work. So a few notes about that. This should be an article. It can be as clickbaity as you like. If you were inclined to do a listicle or something, you could do that. It doesn't have to be a super serious article, but I do want you to zoom in on that fundamental question of how do video games intersect with writing in new media? And so again, please give the assignment brief a careful read, because I do have some specific ask fors in it, and points will drop off pretty quickly if you're not able to conform to that. One of the biggest, of course, in that 250-word-ish article, I give you 4 key phrases. Those key phrases have to appear exactly as they do in the assignment brief. Now, in the assignment brief, they are highlighted orange and underlined. You don't have to highlight them in orange and underline them, but do make sure to highlight them in some way, shape, or form so that I can find them right away. And those 4 phrases are, in quote, video games as media, opposed to players, affordances and limitations, and game media problematize. So you've got to fit those 4 phrases exactly as they appear in the assignment brief into your writing. And that's keyword optimization. That is a big part of what a copywriter does in the 21st century. All right, so that's Module 5. That's what you're looking at. It's a pretty normal week, all things considered. Now, what's not normal about it is that next week you've got your final project. That's due on that Friday, and I need to emphasize that the July 30th deadline for both the final project and for all your quizzes is an absolute drop-dead date. The semester ends on July 30th. There's nothing I can do about that. So everything has to be in by July 30th, if not before. If you're having a problem meeting that deadline, contact me so that we can form a plan of work that's going to get you through this class. So if you're looking at your grades right now and you're realizing that there's no way you're going to finish, the final project, I mean, you have to finish the final project. Just, it's in the syllabus. You have to do it. But maybe you did something on the midterm and you're not going to be able to make it up, or you can't take all the quizzes, and also contact me. Let's together build a list for prioritization so that you can pass this class and maybe even do a little bit better. I can help you. I'm here to help you. I'm happy to do it. But like when week 6 comes around, there's not much I can do. At that point, we've got ourselves a short week, and I'm really limited in my capacity to help you because other students are also going to be asking for help. So if you are not where you want to be in this class right now, or if there's some sort of outcome, let's assume that you're getting an A. Let's assume you're doing great. But maybe there's just something you feel we haven't addressed that you'd like to look into. In any event, this is the time to contact me. Really, the time to contact me was last week in Module 4, if not before. But hey, in Module 5, we can still figure something out together and have this be a happy ending for everybody involved. So, final project is due at the end of week 6. You've got some companion work to go along with that. Not too demanding. That's going to be available starting today, Monday of Module 5. So look for that. This week, you're going to owe me a minor project and a minor project, 3 quizzes, and 1 discussion. And as always, if you have any problems, any concerns, want to make any sort of comment, you can always reach me by email, vmalish@fiu.edu. That's vmalesh@fiu.edu. Work hard, work smart. Looking forward to seeing Minor Project 4, and really looking forward to next week to see those final projects. Talk to you soon.